Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, my beautiful empresses. Welcome to Embody Your Empress. My name's Sarah King. I'm the founder of Empress Nation and this podcast, and we are here to delve into our true selves, to open up to new perspectives and find the things that line us up along the way. Today, I'm joined by a fascinating guest, Star Staubach. And if you have manifestation on your radar, you're going to want to be turning up the dial here. Get out your journal, take some notes, and really land in your body for this conversation. Star, welcome to Embody Your Empress.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here. Yeah,
Oh,
thanks for
we are so happy to have you. Manifestation is one of the things I love to hear about, and I love the way that you bring it to life. So, Star, before we get into all the juicy details of this, can you share with us who you are as a human, as a soul, and how you came to be on this journey?
thanks for asking. And I love that question. Who am I as a human? I'm a lot of things. I wear a lot of hats. And I think that part of it, I just feel I never feel satiated. Like I always want more information, more connection, more um just more. So who am I? I'm a mom of three. Um, I get to host exchange students from around the world as well. I am a nurturer. It's just who I am. I am a believer in compassion. I believe it is the medicine that is here to save us all. Um, I am a community connector. Um, my on a soul level, I am multifaceted, playful, uncontainable, human sparkler of love, uncontainable free spirit. That is who I am. And that's been with me, that statement, for probably 16 years now. I went through the process of becoming a life coach. And what that really means and what that really looks like is that I spent my early years and childhood getting to experience life that I wouldn't want my kids to experience. But I got to have so many beautiful lessons out of those things and experiences. I lived in a third world country where there were literally guns to our heads at checkpoints. There was a war going on there while we were there. Um, and so I share that simply because all of that I wouldn't want other people to experience has helped to inform me. Someone just said to me today, Star, I love your perspective because I can always feel the truth that you hold in any situation, any circumstance. You believe, you have faith that it'll all just work out. And I do have, and my response to her was, the reason why I have that faith and that belief is because I have been through the trenches, what feels like many times. And so I hold this space being in my own human experience. And that human experience can feel really heavy and it can feel really um, stuck at times. We can get mired down in our own rules that we think we have to live by. And um, when we're in it, it feels, I don't know how else to describe it, Sarah, but it just feels divine, reminding me, right, of what's possible. And that entity, when I say divine, I just mean a higher power, a higher source than my own human experiment, right? My own human experience, and my own human mind, because my human mind can get stuck in the linear and stuck by the rules and stuck by the answers and stuck by the solutions, right? And so and that's the realm that when I can transcend that, when I can hold the belief outside of that, that's when the manifestations happen.
Oh, I get the sense it's just like, oh yeah, I feel I feel like I had this conversation in my head yesterday, Sal, where my human was having like gonna pitch a little hissy fit because it was holding on to the structure and the rules and the denseness. And then my higher self is coming in going, well, this is why the manifestation is not coming to fruition, Sarah. It's because you're trying to literally control every ounce of it energetically. And then I'm just like, my human was like, well, but it feels like so long. And I'm just literally, you could imagine a toddler having a little tantrum on the street. That's, and my higher self is just like, they're there, Sarah. Like, calm down and we'll come back and have this. Uh, So
I do believe in the tantrum though. I'm a proponent. I think that kids are onto something. Like there can be because and you just said it. There was a shift. Like when we allow ourselves to really throw the tantrum, to really flail our arms, stomp our feet, scream and cry and say this doesn't feel right. Like it is a declaration that we are claiming, right? Because we have pain receptors on our bodies for a reason. We're designed in our human selves to experience pain. And it's here to serve us. So when we delve into that tantrum, it really is a moment of, oh, here's pain. And when there's pain, that's an indicator, left or right. Like it's a right. Like I get to choose a new direction that isn't going to keep me in the space of pain. Does that make sense?
it does make sense. I feel like for me personally, I'm always choosing a new direction. Does it help
Mm.
with my manifesting or does it hinder it? Because I'm always on the
No.
move.
Well, you're probably not far from myself. I do the same, right? And there can be yes and. Okay. So I don't know if you know much about the Enneagram, but the seven is often the person who, the type, right? So the type is a big personality. The type is also constant change. A seven always needs to be on the go, always needs to have things shaken up and gets really bored very easily with the same old thing. My husband has had the same job for almost 30 years. I have not. Like I have, as I
Yeah.
sit or
Wow. I have not either.
no, I have not at all. Like I've worn many hats and that feels good to me. There are times when I'll judge that because I'm judging it from the perspective of somebody else's truth. Right. And that's the place that really kicks us out of our own manifestations when we're judging our truth up against somebody else's. And so the question becomes, is it serving you to constantly create that change for yourself? And with that personality type, right, from the Enneagram, it's my job to discern when it's time to stick with something that might feel challenging to be in. And when it's time to allow myself to go back into that deviated, like a new thing, a new thing, a new thing, right? Because it can be flashy, shiny objects that can be distracting. And chasing those can definitely hinder manifestations. And this is part of, right? So, this is part of my mission is to help people to understand the difference between the outside sources that are pulling us, those shiny, flashy objects that are absolutely serving as a distraction. As we say, oh, that's what I want. Oh, that's what I want. Right. So social media and even media in general is providing a really big opportunity for us to be drawn into, sucked into, I'll say, someone else's truth, someone else's manifestations, and judging our own based on that, or seeking that out based on what we see somebody else's happiness as, right?
Yeah.
But we're being marketed to all the time and sold about what's going to bring us joy and happiness. And so there's a real level of discernment that we get to make about what is true for our heart, what is true for our soul to navigate. And that simply requires us to be present. It simply requires us to allow the silence and the pause because it's in the pause that that's where that higher source can come in. It's instead of us chasing, we're simply allowing and being so that we can let those manifestations catch up to us, if that makes sense.
Mm, mm. I had that beautiful reminder just the other day where I have been in the busy, been in the push, been in the creation for quite a bit. And I really took myself into that deep pause and I went, this is what I need to remind myself to come back to more regularly. This is the essential part of everything. And it feels so blissful when you are in that and you're just so like time stops and you get to really connect and have that true moment with the divine, with the creator, with God. And I, it was my beautiful reminder to be like, I had stepped outside for too long to come back more often, more regularly, to come up because I used to do it. Used to do it every morning making my coffee. I would come in. And even if it was the 5 minutes while I was making my coffee and I didn't come back to it for the rest of the day, like I had that beautiful, beautiful rush to come back. And not that rush is probably a wrong word to describe it because it feels like more of it has to be an addiction thing like my coffee, but that was my connection. That was the bringing it all together moment for me. And starting my day served me so well like that. And I guess what I'm coming to is that I had allowed myself to walk away from that, consciously or not consciously, like I was choosing not to bring in that connection during that moment that I do every day anyway. Um,
Mm.
so important to be in the space, to be in the receiving and the giving. Like for me, it's a two-way street of coming in. Um, that's beautiful. But I got so I
And
went on a little tangent
we
there. I was in my body.
and we
I'm in.
yeah, and we all need that space, and we're all being called into that space, and we're all being called to let go and drop the noise because there's so much noise. And unless you're Dalai Lama, which
I'm not.
none of us are, right? Like we have that potential, right? But
Mm,
like we also Dalai Lama is majority of the day sitting in meditation. Like, so it's very real. I think what I'm wanting to let everyone know is that we're in our human realm and it is okay to be pulled out in the way that you get pulled back in into yourself, into your empress, into your divine, right? Is to just allow ourselves to quiet that noise, to first acknowledge that it's there and that we're being kicked out by it, all that external chatter. Um, and the quicker that we can align with our our own inner knowing, the quicker we can return
mm,
to those the ease and the manifestations.
mm. And you brought up social media before, and I think it's a beautiful awareness to have as well that social media is a machine that can bring us in and consume us along the way. And we feel like we are consuming it and it can have the reversal. And, there's obviously benefits of it. We all put things, I mean, we put things out there. It's how I share the podcast. However, to be consciously aware of how much of ourselves we are putting into it, it hit me the other day. I'm like, they have a beautiful business model where it relies on other people being addicted to putting content out there for them and consuming it for them. And I'm like, it's genius. However, the
Mm.
awareness for us to be of it for our own energy, for our own life and to know that it is not always life lived on social media isn't always the the life that someone is living within the reality and I guess the judgment's still there with some people. It was just interesting because I was reading a post yesterday of a businesswoman, a content creator, who's saying she had manifested her dream car 2 years ago and that she was giving it away. And I just found the concept so curious that she had poured her energy into. creating this manifestation of her dream. And within, like, by my terms, a short time frame of 2 years, that she was done with that beautiful manifestation and that she was going to be passing it along to someone else. And there was a whole entry competition for the business behind that. Um, I guess that leads me to my question of when we are manifesting and we bring to fruition a big
Mhm.
let's say materialistic thing. Is it usual that people jump quickly onto another materialistic thing, or are people drawn deeper into the values in behind what they are manifesting?
Such
Well,
a
I
great
think,
question.
are we being surface level or do we take it deeper?
So, the real manifestations, the ones that will create a big shift in your life, are coming from within. And they're they what I believe is that when we allow those to come to fruition from within, we're creating a ripple effect of good in the world. When we are reaching for I'm not a huge vision board person. And the reason why is because often those vision boards were pulling those images from magazines, which are advertisements. Um, and so those advertisements um, are their emotional pulls. Like those images are are selected with a lot of research to get us to have a trigger response, right? And so it's not about the car. It's about what that car means for her underneath of it. So it doesn't surprise me that she sold it within 2 years. It's actually, I'm curious if she was able to obtain that internal value, like you said, if she was able to recognize that. Um, and if she was able to recognize that and figure that out, on her own. Or often what happens is we obtain the thing, and then once we obtain it, we still have a feeling of emptiness. And then we internalize something is wrong with me. I don't know. I don't know how I can do this. Um, I didn't do it right. And
I
and
need to
that
more. Like, I need
need
to
to
go
do it
bigger.
more. I need the next biggest thing. I need that, right? And so we just keep on this, it's a stuck loop that we find ourselves in, um, trying to figure it out. Mm.
Oh my goodness. That's beautiful. Like, it's a really beautiful perspective. So when you are talking to someone and they might be new in the manifestation world, or they might be hitting up these blocks that you just mentioned, is there any processes? Is there any starting points that you would recommend that they look at, that they feel into?
Repeat that question. When I'm working with someone in manifestations.
Yeah. So if they're beginning out or if they're coming up to these blocks that you just mentioned, is there any starting points or that they should be feeling into?
So the starting points are really letting go of all the external chatter. And so there is that is the starting point. The starting point is to find some quiet. And you can do that through journaling. You can do that through by going out into nature. You can do that through exercise. Any meditative experience, anything that is going to be repetitive, that is going to support us to let all of our thoughts just be drained from our minds so that we can get out of here. That's the goal. The goal is for us to get out of our heads because the real manifestations come from our heart. And so, whatever that is for you to be able to really get out of your head. And sometimes that is just a brain dump of a journal, like just really letting ourselves get all of the thoughts that are there just to be released. And then ask the question, yeah, 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 you can
It's
feel
like,
it.
you need to do that after you finish talking, Sarah. Like, you're like,
Yeah. And then afterwards, ask your heart. Like we forget the wisdom that resides in our heart.
yeah.
We have learned or been taught that this is where our wisdom lies, and it's not. Like there's a wealth of information and knowledge out there that can come from our minds and our brains, right? But there's something deeper that comes from this space in our hearts. And that's where I encourage you to start, is to drop into your heart.
Beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. Manifestation is like, can I be like really honest, Star? Like, it used to
Yes.
really intimidate me. It used to be something that possibly I held on a pedestal, like people would talk about, and it would seem so far away from me, so far out of my body. And yet on playing with it on reflection, like, I'm actually very good at it when I don't try and control it. Like, things manifest quite easily when I just allow the flow and allow it to be. But I had built up this perception of it to be not for me, like it's for other people. Like, I didn't feel worthy of it. That was the pinnacle. I didn't feel worthy of being a manifester, being able to receive the things I desire. Is that a belief system that comes up when you're working with people, that they don't really feel worthy of what they're desiring to call in?
They don't feel worthy, they don't feel capable, right?
Mhm.
Like that's for other people. And we'll distance ourselves from our own manifestations, looking at somebody else and think, that's good for her. That's neat that she can do that. I'm not capable of
Mm,
that. And truly and you're right, the worthiness too. So that's important for all of, everyone to pay attention to. Just energetically notice your energy around how your body is responding to the word manifestation, to the idea that something can just land in your lap and in your life, the idea that things can unfold favorably for you, the idea that things are unfolding favorably for you, even within the trials and tribulations. Like that's the piece, right? There's this myth that once we learn these skills, once we know how to meditate, once we can breathe, once we can tap into our hearts, once we can have all these resources, that we're going to avoid the discomfort. And that is not accurate because again, we're part of the human experience. And we have pain receptors for a reason. We're designed to feel it. And so one of the things that will kick us out is wanting to quickly wash away the experience. And it's so important that we remember all of it's here,
mm,
unfolding as it needs to for us.
mm. And pain is one of those things that we are taught from a very young age to avoid. Like, we fall over as children. Oh, no, brush it off. You're fine. Don't worry. Like, quick hustle out of that, the feeling of the experience that you're having. And here we go, as adults, we're learning that it's okay to be in that pain, and that the pain comes up to show us the shadows or the dark or the experience to be had in that moment. I always like to say, I'm a real human. I feel all the feelings. Like, there is nothing that's off limits for me, because we are here to feel. We are here to feel the good, the joy, the blissful, the enlightenment, and we're here to feel the things that are deemed as negative, because that is part of That's part of the range that we have available. So why would we come here and limit ourselves to just this very short bandwidth of emotions and feelings and experiences when we have the whole container available on that is where we grow more in the depth and the dark and the shadows. It stretches us, it pushes us, it really takes us into the magnification of those feelings. And as long as we don't get stuck there, that we continue moving through the processes, moving through all the variations of them. Um, I feel like that's a moment that's missed in life often.
I agree with you, and I think that, the we've all heard it. What what we resist will persist.
Yeah,
And so if we continue to suppress, if we continue to pretend that everything is fine and that we don't have all of that stuff that we are wanting to just avoid because it's not on the vision board, right?
not
Like
on. Yeah,
it's not polished and shiny and rainbows
yes,
and like, oh man. And um you said, as long as we don't get stuck there, part of that is just having an awareness that you don't have to be stuck there. And really surrendering to it with that trust, that faith that we're not going to be stuck here. That's just not who you're here to be. It's not. It's a part of what you're experiencing. It's not who you're here to be.
that's that's right. It's not the identity. Beautiful. And Star, you bring manifestation into parties. Can you share with us how that looks, what kind of experience that is? This is the first time I've
Yeah.
heard of this.
So I love that you're asking me about this, and I shared with you before we jumped on live that I used to live in Australia, and I would love nothing more than to come and do a party for you and to go and visit all my family and friends still back home and do parties for them. But so the parties, I do them virtually too. But the parties, we're designed to be in community. We're designed to see one another thrive. And so it's less of a party like rah, rah, yay, like life is great, and more of a party like let's link arms. I want to hear your big vision because when I hear your big vision, and when the other, oftentimes women in the circle and amazing men, hear your big vision, they lift it and hold it and expand it well beyond what you and I think is possible because that's the power of the collection. That's the power of the collective, of being in community together. And so it came about after the parties came about and started after my own really big manifestation that I thought was far, far too out there and not possible the minute it escaped my lips. And then it, it was in a circle of women that the signs started to pop and and then it just kept evolving. And so I wanted to recreate that for other people to experience to see what was possible.
Oh, I love it so much. The power of sharing is incredible. I was at a beautiful, a very intimate networking dinner the other night. There was 5 of us at a dinner table, and we were going deep into the conversations. And one of the topics we brought up was, what are we calling in for, the next 3 years? What's our big juicy dream? And, we all went there. We didn't hold back. We didn't filter ourselves. And, straight out of my mouth, it wasn't even anything businessy related. It was like, I desire to call in a property where I can live with my family and it has a waterfall because I'm so blessed to live in a part of the world where you can buy a land with waterfalls on them. And
Yeah.
it popped into my radar and I'm like sharing this like with my heart with these women. And there's just this beautiful energy that goes behind putting it out there, like actually verbally, like we talked about the vision boards where you put them on the wall and you kind of look at them, but actually expressing it verbally, it made my heart sing. It made me
Yeah.
alive. Mm,
there's a vibration that comes along with that. So you and I, as we speak in this moment, we can put our hands on our hearts, our chest here, and you can feel the vibration. You can feel the energy of words that are moving through your body. And there is a vibration that is shared when you're sharing your manifestations in a circle. Now, yeah, I do want to caution you that there are some people who cannot hold your vision. They're just not there. And it is our duty to guard it and protect it and only share it when there's safety. And I'm going to invite you to just think about what that safety feels like for you and trust that you know who can hear and hold and expand that vision with you and who perhaps doesn't have the privilege because they
mm,
just are not there. They're not able to be present to it. And that's okay. It doesn't need to be judged. Um, but I think that it's a very real truth that we often don't identify. And it is an important part of the process to be in a safe circle, to be in a space where we're consciously choosing to elevate and expand somebody else's dreams. Yeah,
absolutely. You say that, I'm like, is there's already a list in my head of people that I filter through. And that's okay. That's just where they are. I guess it's
that's where
like
they are.
of, work behind the scenes and then when creation has happened and we share. I feel like that is for some people, not for all people in life. I'm very blessed to have a partner that's very much aligned with supporting me and I support him. So I get to bounce those ideas off in that safety of the container and know that I'm elevated there. I know in other areas of my life, only when things come to creation, that's when I share.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful reminder, very beautiful reminder because it can, um, want to say the wrong reaction, a negative reaction can completely disengage, right?
I mean,
Mm,
it's similar to I don't know how you named your kids, but my kiddos were not named until they were born. And yet, like, you know that there are people who are women who are pregnant who guard that and protect it because they've already formed a bond with the name that they've chosen, if that makes any sense. And so it's not for someone else to form an opinion on. Right? And so
yeah.
there are times when we're seeking out, perhaps, a brainstorming opportunity or like we're asking for input. And then there are times when we're not asking for any input. I just really want to connect with and share with and allow this to be unearthed. Right. And so that's part of the discernment that we get to do as the holders of our visions is to know when it's time to guard it and there's no opinions needed.
I love that. Just standing in your truth, standing in your power. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, Sarah, I have some Empress questions for you. I'm so curious
Okay.
to know, how do you embody your Empress?
That's such a great question. So this might sound really wild, but what I have noticed recently is that I really love connecting with humanity. And I really love the reflection that I see in a broad spectrum of humanity. Humanity is beautiful. Like, it makes me emotional every time I talk about it. And that is the truth. It's the truth of who we are here to be. And there is tremendous disconnect from that truth. Um, in our neighborhoods, within our family networks, within our communities, within the world, right? Like there's a disconnect. People have disconnected from the truth of who they're here to be. And one of the things that I really love doing is driving for rideshare because I get to connect with a broad spectrum of humanity. And when I say broad spectrum, it can be an unhoused woman or it could be a global CEO who is in town for 15-minute presentation. Um, and what I think how and why it serves me is because it's a very innate thing for me to see I don't know if it's the potential, but the beauty in people. And it's a very innate and comfortable space for me to connect them with that. And as a result of connecting them with that, I feel like I plug into my own empress. Mm.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is it's wild. And I love it so much. And it's such a
Mm,
beautiful perspective to bring to the table. What a
mm,
cool but what a cool roll of the dice. You don't know who you're gonna meet and you can have the most amazing conversation. And then it's like, okay, bye. Another amazing conversation can come through. That is so
and
cool.
the thing is, like, my empress, my priestess, my, inner dharma, inner whatever however you wanna light, right? She guides the conversation, and there are no filters because in the car, when you're traveling in the airport conversation or the airline conversation or the train passenger next to you, right? Like, there's a revealing of the soul.
Oh yeah.
There's a there's a guard that is down when you feel safe. Like,
Mm.
obviously, there are people you're sitting next to and you're like, "I'm not gonna share anything with him." And, I create like, that's what I do. I create that safe space, and I love I love in the moment, it just gets so rich and juicy, and it's been 3 minutes in the car, and I'm in my head, like, "What did I ask? I don't even know how we got here." Um, but it really is, it's just it's slightly addicting, like, just being in that space, and holding that space and witnessing people where they are and reminding them of just the joy they're here to express.
Wow. What a guardian angel you are. You are just touching people's lives everywhere. Yeah, they are thinking they've just gotten into their ride and they're having this beautiful experience. That's such a blessing for everyone.
It
Absolutely.
really and it feel like for me, like, they're my guardian, you know what I mean? Like, they get in and
Mm.
they take me to the next ride, and I find myself in my head of, like, where am I going and why am I waiting and why am I this is what am I doing this for? And then I get the next passenger and I'm like, "Oh, right. Okay. That's why."
This is
Yeah.
exactly right. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Empress question. What does your Empress energy feel like for you?
Mm. Oh, she is, just so grounded, and she is I there's, deep but powerful, soft, strength, and, she is they're just expansive, she's open, like, just has this really warm, inviting, open energy, and open to the universe, open to the divine, open to connections, open. Um, heart is really open. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what are your parting words of wisdom for inspiring your nation?
Oh, that's beautiful. I really want to gently remind anyone who is listening the power of your breath. And I know we didn't do breath work, but just the power of connecting with, our bodies are miracles and they'll breathe. Our bodies will just pump out, and get fresh oxygenated air every second. Like it'll keep pumping blood for us. It'll keep breathing for us without our attention, without our energy or thought. And yet, when we give it our thought, when we give it our focus, when we give it our attention, it feels different. There is a shift that is created just by you being present in the most simple of ways. It doesn't have to be grand and it doesn't have to be take up a lot of time. It can simply be in the conversation or at the stoplight in your car, but just being aware that you have access to that. And I want to insert this one caveat, and that is that air is uh, readily accessible to all of us, right? And that I just want you to play with the divine, the expansive energy, the higher self is as accessible as that air. And what if we just, every moment that we took a breath, we felt that accessibility and that invitation to come in and support and guide us?
That is beautiful. What an invitation. Do you want to go through a quick little breath work?
We can do that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? What a beautiful way to end our conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to invite our listeners. I like to kind of my legs are crossed, so I'm gonna uncross my legs, and I'm gonna just put my feet solid on the ground, and I'm really just opening myself up, to the energy that can come through and with the breath. Now, breathing is gonna be accessible, at any however you hold your body. I'm just positioning it so that it is remaining open, and with that, I'm gonna invite you just to take a breath in through your nose. And then I want you to fill yourself up even further by sipping the air. Feel yourself just really full and then make a sound as you exhale. And do that again, just taking that breath in through your nose. When you feel like you really filled up, do it a little bit more, sipping that air, really filling your diaphragm, reaching spaces in your body that maybe that air hasn't reached yet. And as you exhale, allow yourself to feel the vibration of the sound and push out all the stale, trapped air from our shallow breathing. And we'll do one more together. Big deep breath in, sipping the air and filling yourself up. And then release, fully pushing it off. And just allow your body to just ebb and flow in its natural rhythm, but feeling that breath touch every cell of your body, consciously choosing to invite that higher energy in with every breath. Feeling the truth of love, accessible, peace, accessible, abundance, accessible, expansion, accessible. And feeling that with your breath. And keep breathing and notice your breath throughout the day. Notice where it might get trapped as you're breathing. If you feel it stopping in your chest, if you feel it tightening in your throat, and choose to consciously push through that. You taking charge, you feeling connected to. Thanks for asking for that, Sarah. That was
So
there's
beautiful.
yeah, and there's power. There's power in the collective breath.
Mm,
There's power in each of us experiencing that at the same time. This is the energy reported at concerts while we're
yeah.
all belting out the same tune. We're in alignment, collecting that breath. So
If anyone listening can come back to this at any time, and you can just fast forward the rest of the conversation if you want and come back to this moment and come into this with us every single time. It's beautiful. My dog decided that to enhance my experience by licking my hand throughout that. So it was very much a sensory overload.
that's
Trying
great.
to join in the breath work, my little prop here. Hey, he's like, I'm
Yeah.
in with the energy, guys. Hey, what a beautiful
Yeah.
experience. Beautiful. And what's the best way for people to connect with you, Star?
Thanks for asking. So you can visit me at badassmanifestation.com. I do have online courses, and that one of the courses is 21 days of badass manifestation. And they're just simple exercises, Sarah, for us to just really settle into the seat and the practice of manifestation on a daily basis.
21 days is so achievable for all of
Yeah.
us. And
Yeah.
we always say we want change, so let's start doing it. 21 days. Here we go. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for our conversation, Star. You are literally the light out there for many,
Mm.
so many of us. And this conversation has just been so enriched with that energy that you bring to this world. And thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing it. Thank you for being here in this world and sharing this message. I know it's going to touch so many hearts out there.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for holding this space. And thanks for inviting people like me in.
Mm.
Yeah, and inviting your listeners in to be able to do this work. Like we are creating the change, being present to it. Your listeners included.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, honey.